we are going to be recording the diameter of 5 different circles here, and these are basically the circles I'm going to pick, and I'm going to do the inner diameter of this one because the outer diameter is too close to this white top right here, because I wanted enough of a variation. I don't want to have a whole bunch of points clustered together, and especially a whole bunch of points clustered together, because any small statistical error would really throw things off, and I don't want 4 clustered together and then one way off, because that'll give too much weight to the one that's way off. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm not passing around, I'm going to find the 5 diameters, and then I'm going to do it again. So instead of doing 5 of this all in a row, I'm going to do each of these and then repeat using the vernier caliper. And I got to make sure I don't squeeze too hard on this particular one. Can't do it from the side here, so to ease it in slightly. There we go, it's touching both sides. And there we go. Let's see if we can, and I'm going to take a picture of that. So all right, so now for the next one. Still not quite small enough to do it that way, so that seems to cover the diameter of it. So zoom in and take a picture. Or actually, there we go. I don't need to take a picture. And the next one, this one, I was doing inner diameter. To do inner diameter, I use these teeth. And now the next top, and we are now to the point where I can do it from the side. I think that is really close to, yep, the side works. And the last round thing, a spice top. So blue spice top. So if you see where the zero is lined up. And then back to the yogurt container. All right, so see where the zero is lined up. All right. And then to the white top, I can't remember to what this went. And then the inside of the gasket. It's hard and wood, so I'm not really 100% sure what it is. I called it a gasket because it's basically looks like the shape of it, but it's the brown ring, I guess, if you need a description for it, but something like that. And then the green spice top. And now the blue spice top. So that was the second round. So now for the third round. Again, trying to be very careful not to squeeze the sides here because that will distort it, because I can definitely, do that, which will definitely throw things off. So before actually recording the measurements, I'm going to guess this one's going to have the most variation to it, but we will find out. The white top. See, with zeros lined up, and then sort of center somewhere around where they would line up. Now the gasket ring thing. All right. So see where zero is lined up, and then sort of center somewhere around where the other stuff is. Supposedly one of the signs of senility is using words like thing and stuff and other vague terms to describe things. So maybe you're seeing the onset of some senility. Or maybe you're seeing someone who doesn't have a good enough vocabulary. Blue top. So now we're about to start the fourth one. And again, going from the top here. There is a wheel right here to allow for fine tuning, but this is cheap plastic, so that doesn't work particularly well. So white top, fourth one. Inner diameter of the round gasket. Green top now. Green spice top cap. Now blue spice cap. This should be the fifth one. White cap now. I think the cap went with powdered egg whites or something like that. All right, don't know if that lines up exactly with something, but it's either going to be at that end or at that end. Depends on if it's over at this end right here. Oop, there we go. Over at this end right here, if it's just above 104, and it's going to be at this end over here if it's just below 104. So you get to make a call, or perhaps it's 104 exactly. That's something you'll have to figure out. Brown ring. Green spice cap. And lastly, blue spice cap. All right. This is the part of the lab where we try to determine the circumference of the various rings. So we're going to put tape on here, fit around. Now I need to make a mark where the end is, and so basically I'm going to take the piece that is on the edge itself, and masking tape usually works nicely here. Partially see-through, you can see there's a little bit of an edge there. There we go. So there's the mark right there on the tape, and come over here and just sort of highlight the fact that that is the point there that matches. So I want to go from that point right there to that point right there to figure out what the length is. And so we pull out the meter stick, and there's the meter stick. So let's get the tape on it. I have the mark right there, and it's kind of faint here, but you can sort of see the mark right there. That's the point that's at the 50 centimeter mark, and that is the point that we care about. So since the other end is at 50 centimeters, and that right there is 90 centimeters. Fortunately, it's a little bit transparent here. So this would be 40 centimeters here. So this would be 38 point, and then you can sort of estimate. And let's see if I can mash it down a little bit so you can get a little bit better view. There we go. So that would be 38 centimeters, 39 centimeters. So you should be able to get that and then estimate a digit. So, because you should estimate to the nearest 0.1 millimeters. And at this point, we will now proceed with the others. So that's the big one. That is the big container, the yogurt container. And let's get the others. And I'm just going to use the same piece of tape, because why not? So I was doing the side here. So nice thing about masking tape as opposed to Scotch tape or invisible tape is masking tape really does not stretch a whole lot. There's the mark from the previous container, but we can just take that off. And if we go into increasingly smaller lid sizes, then we should be doing okay here with one piece, basically one piece of tape for all of them. So making the mark right there, and we go through the same process. Let's get one edge on the 50. So this is for the white lid, and we have the point over here that where that meets, that should be on 50. And then the other point we have is sort of a dark streak underneath it, but that's the point right there. That's the mark that I made. And so because I was on 50, that's 30 centimeters there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, nope, 1, 2, and then the mark right here. So let's see if I can highlight that a bit better. And I might use a pen after this one. Pencil seems to be doing All right, so that's the white lid. And so now let's take this, and Entering might be a little bit difficult to use with tape, but I think we can manage. So we have it around the inside there, and so I'm going to mark this, and I just said might be using pen here. Ooh. I think this might do much more nicely, much nicer. Put that mark there. Yeah, that's nicer. All right, and so we go through the process again. Again, we don't need the tape that was used previously, so I ripped that end off. And so we have the mark here. So this end at the 50 centimeter mark, as we've done before, so that'd be 10 centimeters, 20 centimeters, and then so we can now do the estimated digit right there. And let's press it down a little bit so that you can see that that is a 5 right there, and that is a 6. And hopefully you can get an estimated digit out of that one. So now we go on to the next one, into the green lid. All right, and again, we don't need the part that was used, the excess that was used in the previous trial. And put a little mark right there. So now we undo it, and we go through the process that we just went through. And we now sort of focus, so we have 50 centimeter mark here, and that's sort of our starting point. So that would be 10 centimeters long, and so now there we are. And if we get a little bit closer, let's smash it down just a little bit so that you can see the millimeter marks underneath. And I think you can pull an estimated digit off of that. There's enough detail there. So recognize that that would represent 20 centimeters long, so it's under 20 centimeters. And so now let's do the blue top through a very similar process. And so the excess we pull off. Put a little mark there. And then back to the meter stick. So that ends at 50 centimeters, and so that would represent 10 centimeters, and so now and so I think you can see enough detail there. All right, and so I believe at this point I'm just going to do a series of photographs. This is the track. I'm going to be rolling the ball down the track. I'm going to start out at the 110 mark right here, and I have my stopwatch. I'm going to stop it when it gets down to that end, basically when it hits the tape. And 0, if you can notice, 0 is just before the end of the track, so let's move it in right there. And that's going to be good enough for this particular lab. There are other labs where you really need a higher precision. So I want to start it so the front edge of the ball is at 110. So we'll be using, not that. So that we'll be using this timer right down here. It goes to the 100th of a second, which is what I want. So this is on 110. So I have the ball set up so that the front edge is at 110 centimeters, as close to that as possible, because it's supposed to be recorded to the nearest millimeter. And I'm going to pull up the ruler at the same time as I tap on the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. And so there is the first time at that distance. And so let's do that again. Reset the timer. All right, hopefully that's going to work better than that ruler. I'm still going to keep the trial for the ruler because I think I did that well enough, but this will be easier to use. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And there's the time for the second trial. At least I think that was the value we had the first time. Give some credence to the fact that the ruler actually worked. It's just this required more effort. Reset. 3, 2, 1, go. And there's the time. 3, 2, 1, go. And again, if there are probably some inaccuracies in this, and this is mainly a vehicle to learn how to do a graph. So 1, 2, 3, go. And there we go. That's the time for 110. Now we want to do, I'm going to come in 20 centimeters. So we'll go to 90, and I will shift my stand. Now I would expect the time to go down. And if it doesn't, then something has gone awry. So 3, 2, 1, go. And it did indeed go down. First trial at 90 centimeters. Yeah, there we go. Reset. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, I think you can see that time, but just in case. 3, 2, 1, go. Reset. 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. And now down to 70 centimeters. All right, so we are now on 70 centimeters, trial 1. Let's get it on 70 centimeters. 3, 2, 1, go. And there's the time. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, go. The 50 centimeter mark, let's reset. 3, 2, 1, go. It's really nice when you have more than one person because you can have multiple people doing stopwatches at the same time, and it just goes a lot faster. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. So we've moved on down to 30 centimeters. 3, 2, 1, go. 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 Enough. And 10 centimeters, I'm going to try 10 centimeters here and just see if that works. We might have to go back and pick something else. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. It's a lot closer than I was thinking to happen. That's going to mess it up here. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. If I'd been under a half a second, I would have picked a different distance, but I think I'm good with this. Reset. 3, 2, 1, go.